We are live.
We're alive too, which is always a good thing. Today is Tuesday, March 2nd. Welcome to Radio Tiny House. I'm Barry Smith.
I'm Beth. I'm a little tired today, so we'll see how this goes.
Well, this is physically, this is a tough thing to do.
Right, come up to do a podcast. No, it's more mentally.
It is a mental exercise.
Stuff going on in my head today.
But well, we also, we started out the day. We're
not talking about the dogs and the chickens.
Well, okay, we're not talking about the dogs and the chickens.
We do that every
we had a chicken escape.
Dog chicken thing.
Yes. Well, it's rural farm life.
Yeah. Well, so now the chicken bunker is going to get fortified today.
Yes.
It's already a bunker, and now I need to make it more fortified.
We do have to. Yes. Make it. Well, we don't have to make it dog proof. We just need to make it chicken proof.
Right, they're escaping.
I thought the goats were escape artists, but the rabbits are. The
chickens are worse. Well, it doesn't help that there's a chicken eating dog just outside of the bunker that they're in.
What breed of dog do you have? Well, she's a chicken eating dog. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We hope you're having a great day. Hope that everybody that experienced winter storm Uri, that was not tropical. I usually say tropical because when I refer to storms,
to name winter storms that I recall. They used to always be tropical storms or hurricanes that were named, and now we're naming everything.
Yes, we're naming everything. So the breeze.
Sorry, I got to nose it. I got to fix that.
The breeze that blew through yesterday, I'm going to call Belinda.
Okay.
So
our friend Belinda might take exception to that.
The breeze Belinda came through our neck of the woods the other day. Anyway, yeah, I hope everybody's doing well from Uri. That was A, it was a freak storm. B, it was just terrible that people weren't prepared. And once again, and this happened in Texas, which is the land of people being, rugged individuals and being prepared. Just another reason to, have a generator, buy a Ninja Bat like we did. They're not expensive. Buy, a week's worth of food to have on hand that you don't have to have refrigerated. It's easy to do. Please do it. Thank you.
Hang on.
That's my readiness.
I'm gonna edit this out. I have something flying up in my nose, and I can't get it. Every time I breathe, it tickles.
Is it a flying booger?
No, it felt like a hair that was up my nose. One of my hairs, probably.
Oh, probably. Okay. I get those almost every night. Either a Beth hair or a cat hair.
Okay, I think I'm de-haired.
But listen, a flying booger is better than a whistling booger.
Yes, I'm editing all this out.
No.
And so are you.
I'm not.
So are you. We're editing this. So I edit the videos and Barry edits the audio. So we'll see who wins that debate.
And of course, because we each, I kind of like to leave the outtakes in. Last week, we had some great outtakes that I think I'm going to just make an outtake reel on. And eventually, it was just hilarious. We were just dying laughing. We were frustrated about stuff. Nothing last week went right.
Was that the Carolina?
Yeah, but it finally happened. Yeah. It was just every time we plugged something in, or every time we hit a key on the keyboard.
Actually, let's just do a whole podcast of oops.
Oops, and just call it oops. That'd be awesome. Okay, so moving on.
I'm not fiddling around.
No, she doesn't even play the fiddle. She plays the recorder some, and she used to play the piano, but no fiddle. And where we live, you should play the fiddle.
You should.
She promised me for years that she was going to learn to play the bagpipe, and she hadn't done that yet.
She.
Yes. You did promise. You did say
about the fiddle. I've always wanted to learn how to play the bagpipes. Basically, it looks so. When in third or fourth grade, I took recorder. Right. Recorder lessons, and I think it's just playing a recorder with a lot of volume. Like meh, and a recorder. So I wanted to get a cantor, whatever you call that thing, and learn to play bagpipes. And I've just never done it. So I need to do that. But I have so many things on my plate right now.
Which I'd be okay with because I absolutely love bagpipes. My grandmother hated bagpipes.
Well, some people love them.
I love them. Hate them. I absolutely love them.
Someday we'll go to the Edinburgh Tattoo, and you can have all the bagpipes and drums
I want to do that
anyone could ever want.
I want to do that. Bagpipes stir my soul. And
I love
I
them.
don't know. It's probably my Scottish heritage.
Probably.
Or just the fact that I like noisy things.
Well, you did marry me.
So, well, you're not noisy.
I'm noisy.
You're just loud.
Too.
Beth, backstory a little bit. Beth is a singer, and she has a beautiful voice. But when we used to record in studio or do live performances, because we were in a group together, even now, all the sound engineers go crazy the first time they try to record her or to mix her live, because she does something. She's got a vocal presence or vocal quality somehow.
I don't know what it is.
That just shreds microphones. And so if everybody would use just a cheap microphone, and Beth would have to have this nice high diaphragm and all that kind of stuff, so she wouldn't blow the microphone. Anyway, she's a soprano. She has a beautiful voice. But that's not a Beth Smith commercial. It's just
no, because I don't really sing much anymore.
It's just an appreciation. So last week we featured our daughter.
Yes, we did.
In her what Beth calls Tiny House 1.
Right, and it's up. I got it up. I had my computer failed halfway through my installation of it, and I thought it had died. And I realized that I had not backed up my Mac. And I'm like, which I have yet to do, because I've been busy since 2 or 3 nights ago. But man, if that all dies, I'm sunk. So I've got to back it up. We
got to back it up. So that means that I'll have to back it up.
Yes, that's what I mean. When I say we, that's what I mean. Just to be clear.
So that just a continuance, though, of all the problems that we had last week. Just continued with
my Mac
editing,
just stopping. It's like freaking out. So I was like, therefore I freaked out. So yeah, I mean, technology, we have pretty current technology. We know our way around technology. We've been doing it all our lives. Yep. But sometimes when your life is built on technology, things happen. Like if you could see the number of wires that are connected here today, which wires drive me crazy. I'm like, yeah, you understand why things fail.
Well, everything now has to be plugged in, with a USB plug.
Right.
The lights that we use are USB plug-in. Now we could plug those into USB connections on the wall, but you've still got to have all these crazy wires, cameras, microphones, routers, everything's plugged in into a computer. It kind of looks like one of those the movies where they had one wall socket in a room.
Oh, and all those
and
things
all the Christmas Story. I think they had all those things plugged into one wall socket or outlet. Yeah. And it sparked all the time.
Yeah.
When they plugged the Christmas tree in.
No,
we're not that
bad. Luckily it's low voltage, but we're not going to kill ourselves, but it's still a problem.
Or light the Christmas tree on fire. So anyway, that was.
But we're not talking about anything we're supposed to be talking about.
Well, Tiny House 1 was pretty well received.
Yeah.
I think we got some good hits on the internet. Lots of people watching it.
Yeah. We've actually had a whole lot of views on that thing, even though it crashed halfway through and I didn't get the right thumbnail up and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what's happening. But anyway, we do have quite a few views on that one because I think we've been talking about Tiny House for a while. And we are having some weird delay stuff.
Oh, man. This I hate. We are. I don't know how to fix this. Oh, there it goes. It fixed itself. I don't know. Maybe it's our internet. You never know with our internet. With Windstream, it's kind of catch can.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll do.
So what are you doing?
I'm looking up something.
One of my things I like to do is a top reason for going tiny or sheddy. And this week, I know this sounds counterintuitive for a tiny house, but more space is a reason to have a tiny house or a shed home. The reason I'm saying that is because it's a lot of people that do tiny houses or shed homes, well, tiny houses in particular, want to be in a neighborhood somewhere. They want to be in an in-town location like we're getting ready to go visit. They want to be in an ADU in somebody's backyard. But a lot of people, maybe the majority of people, want to have space. They want to be able to go buy
Outdoor
property.
space.
Sure, but it's still space. So you can, and that's what I'm getting to. You can buy property and you can put a tiny house on 20 acres and you've got a ton of space to do other things outside. So you can build a barn. You can build a party shed if you want to do that. You can build a pavilion.
Yeah, you thought you were getting a pub, but then the goats got your building.
Yes, the goats got my pub. That was a sad day.
That
But
was a sad
I
day.
do like the goats. They're the
I
if
like
you
the
have
goats
the
better than
opportunities,
dogs.
well, you've never liked dogs that much.
No, I mean,
If
don't
you
say
have
that
the
aloud. Then all the
opportunity-
people that love dogs will
Hate you?
hate me.
Well, no, they won't. She does like some dogs. She just doesn't like our current dog. But I'm figuring out a way to make her like her better. Anyway, what was I saying before you interrupted me? Tiny houses offer you the opportunity to have more outdoor space. So if you're in a subdivision, you have the yard that came with your house, right? You can't do much on it, depending on what subdivision you're living in. You can't even put an ADU on it because of the homeowners association,
Right.
let's say. But if you have your own property, whether you're rural or you have a very large lot somewhere in the city, I mean, my aunt and uncle had 5 acres in the city. They had a massive lot. Of course, it was like this, very steep. But outdoor space is important. Even if you live in a subdivision, being able to get outside is important. You have to be able to get back in touch with nature. And I think that's one of the things that I love about where we live is that we do have outdoor space. We have room to put sheds out there. We have room to put, Beth wants to do a grain bin. So it's a pavilion.
Mhm.
So it gives you room to kind of stretch out a little bit, even though you're living in a tiny space. So that's why I say you get more room when you have a tiny home or a shed home.
Yeah, I think you do.
I mean, our shed home is fairly large. I wouldn't call it a tiny house, but it is for us.
Right.
Certainly a very small house. So you're looking at me like you're bored with this. So moving on, because Beth wants me to move on, obviously. IKEA.
I haven't done anything. I'm just watching you talk.
So IKEA, which we talked about a couple of episodes ago, has their tiny house out. And
yeah, we read some details about it.
We did. It may not be the most effective way to have a tiny house.
Yeah, you need to, if you just think you're going to get a IKEA tiny house, you better read up on it.
Yeah, it starts at about $47,500. And I'm not sure from what I read. And obviously I read an article in the Stamford Advocate, which you can find at stamfordadvocate.com.
Oh my.
And look up the IKEA tiny house. Starts at $47,500, and I don't know that you get any insulation in the building with that.
I don't know that. I don't really know. You need to do some research if you're thinking you might buy IKEA.
Yeah.
I mean, the wonderful thing about IKEA is, and we've talked about this before, we did a going to IKEA thing, but we really didn't do much about, like, I don't think of the videos, but they have those tiny rooms. They have them organized. I mean, if anybody can organize a tiny space, it's IKEA.
Right.
Right. But it doesn't, I don't know that they figured out the whole building situation. I don't think they're certified by anybody. So if you're going to go do that there, I think they're going to be really adorable. I just think you need to do your research about what's inside and underneath and
right.
How
they're built and all those things. Because chances are that with codes and everything, you may not be able to put that on your property. So make sure that if you want to, I mean, it may be a nice novelty item, and it'll be a great thing if they have one at the Atlanta IKEA to just drive down and go see it. I mean, that'd be fun.
People will be drawn to go see it.
Right.
I just think you need to make sure you do research.
Right. So yes, but they're there if you want to see them. The pictures that I found, again, at stamfordadvocate.com. It's a cute little thing. It really is. But IKEA, they kind of got their start in small spaces to begin with small apartments and small houses in Europe, and then dorm rooms all over the world. So they know how to do small spaces. It's just going to be interesting to see how they've done a tiny house. I like the idea. just not sure it's done
We'll
well.
see.
We'll see.
If they have one here, we'll certainly go look at it and videotape it and ask lots of questions.
Yep. Beth's good at asking lots of questions.
I do.
She doesn't quite take a clipboard with her.
I do ask lots of questions. I just got off the phone with somebody.
Yes.
We'll talk. I think we'll talk about that a little
All
bit.
right, we'll talk about that a little bit. Beth has a clipboard in her brain that is just going all the time.
I can't help it.
So in news today, we've got and we'll just talk about what you just
stuff in my throat. Sorry. Time out.
Well, I'll cover for her while she's choking. No,
that way I can edit it out.
Oh, okay.
Don't cover for me.
Okay.
Silence.
This was an edit point. There. Wood prices continue to climb. And a lot of it is based on COVID and supply and demand.
You mentioned, which I don't even know why we didn't think about it, but all the wildfires out in California.
Well, that's right there written in there last year because of California's wildfires.
No, I know, but you were telling me that earlier, and I was like, well, duh, I didn't even think about it. We've had 2 years of big fires in California.
Yep. And
I'm assuming that's where a lot of our lumber comes from.
It is indeed.
I mean, I don't think about that because, I live in Georgia and there are pine forests here, and we use 2x4 pine.
Right.
Right. But I guess if you're a big manufacturer of 2x4s, you're going to get them wherever you get them.
Right.
And if the half of the West Coast doesn't have 2x4s, where are they going to get them? They're going to get them from the East Coast.
Right.
Making my prices go up. So
and building is still happening.
Big time.
So it's I mean,
everybody's building right
in the Atlanta area for sure. It's
insanity.
It is. We've never really, even when the economy was kind of slow, we didn't have it slowed down a little bit in Atlanta, but it never stopped in the metropolitan Atlanta area. And it continues to grow north of the city, just about 15 miles south of us.
Which used to be rural land.
Now there's either a massive subdivision going in there or it's a huge apartment complex.
Yeah, a lot of building.
Yep. So I mean, costs are still going up for that the raw building materials.
Right.
So the option is paying higher prices for wood.
Yes.
Or building your tiny house or shed home with something else. So you could use rock. We've got rock here enough rock on our property to build. We have granite and we have limestone, something.
Limestone, I think it is.
And we have an outcropping of Stone Mountain, which kind of has granite veins all over the southeast that are related to the Mother Mountain, I guess, Stone Mountain, the Mother Mountain. But another option would be a yurt.
I mean, yeah, or tiny house on wheels doesn't take. I mean, of course, that's another reason to go small is you're not using as much. But still, people who go small also are looking to keep within a budget.
Right. So dirt, you could use Adobe
cob.
Beth has always wanted to do a cob house.
I have.
We haven't done that yet.
That's a lot of work.
A lot of work. I would like to do something cob.
I would too.
We're going to do our pizza oven out of cob. I think we're going to do an earthen oven.
Done, but I don't do. I have that 5 degrees of comfort, so the weather's got to be right.
The weather's got to be right, and it can't be too wet or too humid or too the hair, the nails.
Yes, that.
But a better option than all those, is metal.
Metal.
So Beth had an exciting conversation with somebody this morning.
I did. The local metal distributor where we got our roof. We've got, I guess, just mainly our roof.
Right.
They built a little house next to them. They had a contractor come build a little house next to them that is metal studs
made out of there. Yeah.
We went and looked at it a couple of years ago, but it was too expensive compared to wood.
Right.
Well, guess what's happened? Wood has gone crazy. And now the other thing that's precipitated my phone call to the guy is that we have heard the news that Tuff Shed has discontinued the building that we have.
Right.
So many of you would like to own one right?
And we had heard from somebody here in the Atlanta area that they were still going to sell them, but that they just weren't going to put them on the lots anymore.
Right.
Now we know that we've heard
from a couple people
but these people are maybe more reliable than
Right.
our source, that they are just going to stop manufacturing the TR 1600 model right now altogether.
Right now, altogether.
Now-
Somebody said it was for liability reason. I assumed it was for lumber shortages. I'm not really sure. And I have a couple of Tuff Shed folks in my group, and I haven't had a chance to track them down. But it sounds pretty definitive that they, at least for now, discontinued that 2-story model, which
Right.
is what a lot of people. We start the idea of going tiny because we want to do something inexpensive, but then we realize, oh, we need a bedroom and we need a bathroom and we need a whatever, and all those things take a certain amount of space.
Right.
Right. And so your house goes from being 100 square feet to 768 square feet, right? Like we have. We probably could have done something smaller, but we wanted a decent living, dining, bathroom space. And the upper floor, when you're building, a foundation is cheap, is an expensive part of your building, right?
Yeah.
So
Second floor is cheap space.
Yeah, your second floor is almost free.
Right.
I mean, comparatively. So that's why we built with 2 stories. Anyway, so Tuff Shed, we think, is going kaput on the TR 1600 or the two-floor building.
2-floor. I like that.
2-story. That's a combination.
I don't know. I don't
floors
like
and
these
stories.
stairs. This house is 2-floor for me.
Anyway, so I've been looking into some sort of replacement for that for the people that are in our group. And I called the metal building guys today, and we are working on some ideas around that. But here's the thing. Metal framing used to cost about 15% more than wood.
Lumber, right.
Now they're dead even. But metal gives you some opportunities that it's pluses and minuses. Everything you do is pluses and minuses. But it gives you some things. First off, it's not going to rot. It's got better wind lateral loads.
Right.
They can also strengthen it for snow loads. So you get a lot more. You can make it more customized to what you're looking for without having to change the dimensions. Like if you're in the snow load, you change lots of things in order to hold snow.
Right.
With metal buildings, that's not as much the case.
Right.
So we were talking and brainstorming about how that might work for our group and the people that follow us if they want to get something. So I'm working with and they ship everywhere. So we're going working on something around that. So I'm excited about it. That was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just got off the phone with them before I came up today, and I wasn't going to say much, but and I'm not. I'm just kind of telling you that this is something we're working on as a replacement idea about folks who want to live inexpensively. And
Right.
honestly, the prices right now seem really reasonable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
And we'll have more on that probably in the
develop
coming weeks as we develop a plan, and then we can tell you about our relationship with them and stuff like that.
Yeah, we don't know where that's going, but I think that what we'd love to be able to figure out is another option that's reasonable.
Right. Yeah.
That it doesn't have to be metal on the outside. Let's be clear. No, not many people want to live in something that looks like a garage.
Right.
Barn-dominiums are popular, and there's a lot of reason to do it, but most people don't want to go that far out of track. They want something that looks more like a house.
Right.
So we're working on that.
Yeah. And metal gives you, a lot of options too, that you have the same thing with wood, but they may be different options, but they may be in some ways better options.
Well, at least if you
depending
know
on
the
where you
termites in places like Australia where they have what my Australian cousins call white ants. I can't even say it that way.
White ants.
White ants. White ants. Yeah. Which is their version of termites that eat wooden houses. Probably one of the reasons housing is so expensive in Australia. But
we have those here in the South too.
We have lots of termites. And so if you're thinking about that, and if you're putting it almost straight on the ground, like we're doing with treated wood, metal makes a lot of sense. The question is, can you afford it? And secondarily, how do you attach things to it? And I did ask him lots of questions about that. And then lastly is, how do you keep your house insulated so you're not living in a hot, sweaty metal box, which we've talked about before. So anyway, we'll know more.
Apparently the Ikea tiny house might be because of all the windows. It does come with solar, which is really cool.
Small, but yeah.
All
right.
So,
we're looking at our notes.
Yeah, we're looking at our notes right now, and I'm looking at the listeners. Hi there. So Beth did her workshop on this past Saturday.
Yep.
and
got everybody in. It was a little right at the end. We got everybody in.
Get it done in 2021. And yeah, I got I got a message from somebody that was trying to get in, said she couldn't get in.
Yep, we got her in.
And so I had to come in here while Beth was live doing her workshop. I usually try to stay away when she's doing those. And she said, "Oh, there's somebody coming in, and I don't know who it is."
I was like, "Who is coming into my space?" Well, I'm trying to do this workshop.
So
but anyway,
if you heard her say that, that was me. It wasn't a ghost or somebody like that. So yeah. So how was it?
It was good. Everybody's always really complimentary when I do them, and everybody's situation is different. So I try to do as many of them live as I can. Because I need to be able to answer their questions.
Right.
Because if you're in Arizona, your questions are different than if you're in Minnesota. So being able to give people
they sound different too.
Right. General knowledge is really hard because everything is different.
Right.
So, and crazy me, because yes, there's always something going up here in my brain. I kind of know this stuff. I know. If I don't know the exact detail, I can tell you where to go find the information.
Right.
So that's why I do these workshops. So, because I see so much misinformation in these groups, not that people are meaning to lead people astray.
Not in our group.
Well, but I correct them if they're not quite getting in the right direction. But I'm talking about Facebook groups. I don't think people mean to lead people astray. I think that they come to it as a perspective of what their values are, talking about cost.
Right.
Remember, we talked about a guy who kept saying that you should insulate your building with cardboard.
Right.
No. You
can also use old T-shirts.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. Really.
Grind up blue jeans.
They do. That's supposed to be pretty good, actually.
But they talk about now you got me off track. Anyway, it's gone.
All that stuff that is in your head just flew out.
Sidetracked.
So.
Yeah. Anyway. So they
bad advice,
wind loads, all those things. They're coming at it from their perspective instead of what might be applicable to the person that they're trying to help.
Right. And even a builder in Georgia. I mean, if you're a licensed contractor and builder of mega homes, is not going to know what is going on in Michigan or Minnesota or places like that because they're focused on building homes in Georgia.
There's some general knowledge and expertise that you can apply.
Right. But there's code issues that are going to be different from state to state.
So anyway, we try to help. We try to help in the workshop. We try to help people figure that out. Anyway, so that's we did that, and I don't know. I'm probably going to do one more live version of that, and then for this year. And then we'll probably do something a little different because we're getting ready to be out of building season, right? Come March and April, that's when foundations are being laid. That's when people are digging and it gets so hot and people are trying to get their stuff in the spring. So after that, then we move it on to summer.
Right.
Right. So we're going to I'll probably do one more of that and then we'll see where we go.
Speaking of spring coming up, we need to do a gardening show.
Not me. I'm not gardening show. No, that's not. I like to try to garden. I'm not as successful as I'd like to be.
Well, we had
a
garden last year that we grew more squash and zucchini than I have ever seen in my life.
Well, that's what grows easily.
But
then I grew a muskmelon that we hated.
Yeah, didn't like muskmelon at all.
You never can figure out. You got to figure out what you like.
Yep.
All right.
Yes, indeed. So get it done in 2021 was good. You had a good time with that. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Got my brain off
with your show.
Track.
No. I'm talking about coming in on your workshop. Yeah. Then, the last thing on my list, unless you've got something else you want to talk about, is on March 18th. I think that's the date. We are going to go to a new pocket neighborhood of tiny homes in the Atlanta area in Clarkston. It's called the Cottages on Vaughn.
Yep.
And who's building those?
It's called Microlife Institute. It's a tiny home, not for profit, I think, here in Atlanta, but also one of the architects that I keep up with has done a lot of the work there. I think he's maybe planned the whole thing.
Is that Larry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's in our group actually, but
hi, Larry.
if he's listening. But we want to show you a pocket neighborhood. We've been talking about really living in a, yes, Barry talked about space. Pocket neighborhoods are often in like infill neighborhoods in communities,
Right.
But they also can be done where the people are grouped around a central courtyard and then leaving the green spaces on the outside for all kinds of other activities. So I mean, there's various ways that people develop them. But this one is like infill. It's like a tiny little piece of property and they had like 8 cottages on it.
Right.
But we're going to go videotape it. Last time we were there, it was kind of a mud pit. And now we think that, and now they're framing and things are up and we're going to walk through it and probably go live and show you guys.
Of course, with all the rain we've had, it probably is still a mud pit.
So that's kind of where we're going. That's what we're doing. March the 18th, we're headed into town for another project.
Right.
And so we're going to swing by there and go do some, if it's worth videotaping, which I think it is, because I've been following them, we'll do some videotaping from the space.
And also late March, we're going to be doing the Georgia Tiny House Festival, which will be at the Georgia International Horse Park in Covington or Conyers, I think it's in.
I think it is. And of course, now these tiny house festivals are mainly tiny houses on wheels, which is not our expertise. Although we've lived in a tiny house on wheels, a couple of them. But obviously, it's hard to have a tiny house festival when you're dragging sheds there. But when there was a shed builder in one of the tiny house festivals we've been to.
We went to, was it year before last? We went to the one down in Hampton, Georgia.
Let me be clear. It was a ready removable shed builder instead of built on site to code shed.
Right. It was not a Tuff Shed
type thing.
Built to code. It was, a drag and drop or ready removable.
Right.
But they were there. They were there. 2 or 3 of them.
And honestly, I wish now in hindsight, I would have loved to have interviewed them. But
well, we didn't have a podcast then.
Well, the whole ready removable living in a shed, like that kind of shed, was not on my radar.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, we had this when we went there, but we were not.
Office.
Yeah.
And speaking of that,
yes,
I'm changing the subject just a little bit.
Oh Lord.
I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but I am. So I've finally gotten my inspiration piece for my, we call it our shoppice. And Barry and I usually do a lot of decorating compromises, right?
Yes.
Whatever we end up with, it's a compromise.
She wouldn't let me frame my old football jersey and put it up on the wall.
Right.
But
But his podcast room is his podcast room. It's not, decorating. It was just sort of like we were doing it on a shoestring.
Well, it was thrown together, honestly.
Right. Well, it's like we had this little space and then we're going to add this and I've got this and we did right? So that was just sort of thrown together. And the kids in front of in this building, the kids will have a homeschool. But I also want it to be a guest suite for friends, my daughter, our Atlanta daughter coming up and spending the night and whatever. But I also, if any of you have seen our house, I'm a little interested in decorating.
Right.
So I finally found my inspiration piece for the thing. And I showed it to Barry. I thought he'd go, oh no, there's no way.
Right.
But
it's
he
cool.
Actually liked it. So now I'm taking now that I'm running with it and I'm taking carte blanche, and the front part of this office is now going to be called my she shed.
So
and it's going to be whatever I want.
I didn't know
no compromises.
I didn't know that they still had carte blanche credit cards.
Exactly. They don't. I'll show you if I can. I did this before with the weather and it came out all right.
Yes.
There it is. You can see it. There's my statement piece. That's a velvet green sofa with that turns into a hide-a-bed.
So the cats are not going to be allowed on
no cats.
Green velvet.
Well, it's dark enough that if the kids are kind of get dirt on it, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Well, and it turns into a hide-a-bed. I'm like, how much more practical can it be except for a green velvet sofa?
Right.
So now I'm on
here's a challenge.
The run to get this done.
Here's a challenge. This could be a problem, and it just popped into my head.
I'm sorry, there are no problems. This is going to be decorated the way I want it to be.
So we're talking about also having that be a video studio.
Yep.
For videos. Well, hence video studio.
Hence,
which is again good word. Is that green? If we put up a green screen, will the green sofa dissolve if we use the sofa as a prop into
It doesn't matter.
Nothingness.
If it does, you'll be sitting on air, and then we'll do something else.
That would be cool. That would be totally
we're
cool.
having a green velvet sofa.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
And we'll put that to the side.
All right.
By the way, we are going to use it as a video studio.
We are.
Right. For some other things, and maybe even rent it out, like, for by the day. But everything's going to be on wheels except for the sofa. So we can move things around.
I thought the sofa had those little tiny wheels.
No,
on the okay.
Doesn't have it. But everything will be on wheels. We can move it all around, and then but it's going to be my she shed, and I'm just going to go crazy.
Great. And you're.
What's happening? Oh, somebody's calling me.
Which is why I wanted you to put your phone on silent.
I did.
Oh, I mean
That's
on airplane mode, not silent.
No.
So anyway.
We'll edit it out.
We'll edit that. No, don't edit it. It has to be organic. Authentic. It needs to be live. I mean, we're doing a live. It's a taped before a live audience.
No, we'll edit it a little bit.
I have a clap track from my podcast. My Zoom P4 has a button I can push on it that's got clapping on it. So we could do that every now and again because that would have been a good time to add that as a laugh track. Anyway, I think that's it.
I think
for
so.
Today. We're in for some more rain. Our property has become a bog.
Yeah.
And a mud pit. So I'm going to rent the front part of our property out to people that want to come and
grow rice,
mud bog, do bogging.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
And because it's
I'm thinking rice paddies.
Rice paddies would be good.
Yeah. Yep. We've had a lot of rain.
If we keep this up, we'll be able to have peat.
Exactly.
I did throw some lime out yesterday to see if that would help kind of make the soil a little more solid.
Yeah, I think we need lots of lime.
We may need 5,500 bags of lime. All right, so that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's always fun to do these podcasts, even sometimes if we just fly by the seat of our pants. It's fun to do it. It's just a good creative outlet. So thanks for listening. And I'm Barry Smith.
And I'm Beth.
And we hope to see you next week.